we're gonna do the shaved Brussels. I'll do 2 shaved Brussels to kind of demonstrate how I came up with this right here. But I'm gonna dice up some bacon. So we're gonna cut the bacon like this because we want to render out the fat and we want to make bacon bits. We want to make bacon bits for the Brussels, but we also want to make bacon bits for the potatoes that we're gonna have later. We're gonna make twice cooked potatoes or twice baked potatoes, so we want some bacon bits. Everybody knows potato and bacon and sour cream or creme fraiche. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what Todd says. Cheese is the man, right? Cheese is the man. So right now, let's do this. Let us turn this pan on, and we're going to render out this fat. And we're gonna use the fat and we're gonna cook the Brussels in the bacon fat. So instead of using olive oil and butter, we're gonna use bacon fat. Within our Brussels sprouts, we're gonna use some shallots, and we're gonna use some bacon, and we're gonna use some garlic. So we're gonna have a very aromatic Brussels sprout dish. Let's go ahead and just give this a rough chop around. Basically, the goal of this meal is very singular, is impress the date with flavor. We're not trying to be technical, we're not trying to be perfect, because it is a first date and you wanna make sure that, you know, stressing yourself out any more than you should be. All right, check it out. So we're gonna try to get these bits crisped up, and once we get these bits crisped up, we can use them for other applications. I'm gonna save half for the Brussels, and I'm gonna use half for the potatoes. You're not there yet. You want the bits to be a little more crispy than that. No, otherwise you'll have like chewy pork. You want them golden. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start fishing all these. Look at how much fat rendered out. Now we have the fat. Check that out. Check out all that fat. That might be a little bit too much fat, so I'm gonna let go of some of it. Okay, so let's start off with some shallots. And then what I like to do is I like to grate garlic. These days I'm just a big garlic grater. I don't like to chop it anymore, I like to grate it. I use this, a microplane. Use a zester. Use a citrus zester if you wanna grate your garlic really finely. Trust me, it goes a long way. Last one, I'm using 3 cloves here. Like, this is all about flavors, like developing flavor with a green, right? You can do this with green beans, you can do this with broccoli. You don't have to use Brussels sprouts. What I did was, I did thinly shaved Brussels sprouts because it's easier to cook. Whole Brussels sprouts are hard to eat, they're hard to cook, they take forever, and you know, this is better this way. You get more of the fat coating more of the surface area of your green when you shave it like this. Speaking of shaving, let me go ahead and shave 2 for you. You just take a whole one like this. You start off here, tuck your fingers, and you just shave a little bit like that. You put it on its butt. Shave that, turn it over. There you go. Finely chopped. Finely shaved. All right, check it out. Bring it here, bruh. You'll notice that all of this will become smaller as it loses moisture. So the volume will decrease. We'll see in a minute. Once you go and fast forward. Plus you can start to smell it. It'll smell less vegetative. I don't know if that's a word. It'll smell like less like a vegetable, I guess, and more like I don't know, what does that smell like? Like a vegetable, yeah. The moral of the story is don't listen to anything that I say. I'm just gonna give you, my job is to give tips. See how it's kind of becoming glazed looking? It's starting to wilt a little bit. So this is medium heat. You don't wanna crank it up too high because your Brussels sprouts are so thinly sliced, you don't wanna overcook them. You don't wanna burn them. You wanna just cook them gently. Get in there. Let's take a look at the potatoes. Boom! Okay, these are done. Because if your knife goes in that easily, you know they're done. And they might be overdone. Let's let it cool down a little bit and we can get to peeling them. This is pretty much done. Start to get a little crispy bits and burnt edges. That's when you know it's coming together real nice. But you can't forget, You want to hit it with some seasoning. I'd say 3 pinches. 3 pinches. Salt to taste. Salt to taste. Yes, some of you like a lot of salt. I'm like a cow. I like a lot of salt. I don't really know about that comment actually, because I don't know if cows like salt or they don't, but I'm assuming they do. A little bit of pepper to taste. There really is no recipe going on here. It's just what do you like? What do you like? What do you don't like? Turn the heat off. You see how you got the little crispies? Like the little burnt little crispies? That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. We got a little bit more fat right there. Should we hit it with some more fat? All right, let's just go ahead and hit it with that remainder of that fat right there. You can use butter if you don't want to use bacon grease. This is gonna be really good. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit it with some bacon bits. Bacon bits. We're gonna hit it with some bacon bits. I use bacon grease because I wanted the bacon bits anyway. Yeah, might as well just, you know, don't waste anything if you don't have to, right? If you don't have to waste, then don't waste. And that's why I figured like we could make use of the fat and do the vegetable. You see about the volume decreasing? All these Brussels were up to the top here. But now with the bacon, it's pretty much halfway. Now we got our Brussels. Let's go ahead and put a lid on this. Let's see about these taters. God damn. Woo! That's hot. That is hot as hell. Here's the thing. Screw it. Put the skins in there anyway. Ain't nobody got time for that. Like here, up here. Oh, this one peels real nice, real nice. Ow, son of a. See, you can use the skin. I mean, it's not gonna be as pretty like the actual potato itself, but who cares, right? The skin's healthy, right? Maybe not, who knows? Who cares? Oh! The reason why you wanna do it hot is because you wanna incorporate the butter. Potato masher. Yeah, so basically what I want to do is I want to make it smushy enough. See, now we can take out the skins. We don't want to make it mashed potato. Like we're not trying to make really a mashed potato consistency. We just want to make it smashed enough. It's more like a smashed potato, not a mashed potato. When it comes to the butter in this dish, this is 8 tablespoons. 1 stick of butter is usually 8 tablespoons. You want to use at least 4 tablespoons and then see where you are, right? It doesn't matter what kind of butter you use, just make sure you use actual butter. Don't use margarine, okay? Now, does that even matter? It depends. If your date is low class, then go ahead and use margarine. Bacon, lots of salt, because potato just doesn't, you just can't get enough salt in a potato. And creme fraiche. If you don't want to use creme fraiche, or you can't find creme fraiche, then use sour cream. If you want to get really fancy, then you can use a little mascarpone. Why am I patting it down? Because I'm gonna hit it with a little cheese on top. And don't worry, we're gonna scrape it off for Todd. This is grated cheddar, just grated regular white cheddar. It could be aged, it could be sharp, it could be medium, it could be mild. You don't have to do anything specific. Just go ahead and put it on top. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put a little zhuzh, as the Bon Appetit people would say, a little zhuzh on top. Crispy onion bits. A little extra texture, a little extra zhuzh. We're gonna go ahead and put that in the oven while the steak is resting. So we're done with our potato. We put it in a glass Pyrex. We're gonna put it aside. We're not gonna put it in the oven yet. Even though we baked the potato, and I used Yukon Gold or yellow potatoes in this instance, but you can use russet if you want. Even though I roasted the potatoes and mashed them and incorporated all the other ingredients into this, I'm going to bake it a second time. So this is a twice baked potato, but I'm going to put this in when the steak comes off of the grill and while the steak is resting. While the steak is resting for that 10 minutes. I'm going to put this in for 10 minutes. That'll allow the potato to get nice and married to its creme fraiche and its butter and the salt and the bacon, and the cheese will melt nicely on top, become real bubbly, and you know, we'll have a good meal. We're gonna cook this steak on a charcoal grill. I'm gonna remove the grates. They're dirty. We're men. We don't mess with it. We leave it dirty. I'm gonna stuff stuff this with charcoal, flare it up, then dump it in here, and I'm gonna have a nice, wonderful, hot zone to cook this steak perfectly. Now, because the steak is so thick, I want one half of the grill to be capable of searing the crap out of the steak, and I want the other half to not have so much heat. So as you can see here, I'm gonna move everything here. This side is gonna be my sear side. This side is going to be my heat side, regular old heat. All right, we want to use a generous amount of salt. This is sea salt, Maldon sea salt, or flaky salt, basically. If you don't want to use flaky salt, you don't have to, but we want a lot of salt because look how thick this is. This is almost this is about 2-inch thick steak. So we need a lot of salt because the steak is so thick and you have all the meat on the inside that's not seeing any salt. You're just gonna have the crust on top. You want coverage, lots and lots of coverage. The thicker the meat, the more salt you want. Look at that, salty as beep. I'm looking for 135 to 145. That's how I like my steak. See down here? This is the range of temperatures and doneness. Get a little steak going, a little steak here, a little Brussels, a little potato, just get it all going together. You gotta get the perfect bite, just like that. Maybe add a little salt on top. See, this is probably going to be the most difficult part of your meal because you got to peel all this stuff and what? Ah! Who knows? Who cares?